Attention freaks, it's me.
Yeah, I know, I've been gone for a while, but that's because life's a fucking bitch and everyone in this house got sick and eventually it was my turn too. So anyways, now I'm back, so welcome to a total legit guide for Gara. The glass warrior, right? That's what she is?
Hold on.
Wait, you're alive? Thought you were dead. Had my hopes up.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, that was a bit too much.
Like fuck, dude, damn.
I know. Anyway, what did you say?
Isn't Gara like a samurai?
Well, yeah, I guess in her prime, but we can't make that joke again since we did it in the Excalibur video.
You mean in the video that I fucked with you by acting as if I'm a hostage?
Yeah, that one. You prick. Gara is one of the best frames in the game and one of my favorites. You thought that Necros was a multi-talent man? This bitch has so many talents, she's about to become a multi-class character. She's a tank, a defense support, a DPS, and a depressed individual.
I have crippling depression.
She can be used for the entirety of the game, and since she can be built very early on, she's one of the best frames for mid-game players. The amount of insane power that Gara has mainly comes from her 2. Splinter Storm. Mon, your skipping ability. Let's just agree that I'm not going by order of abilities, okay? Like ever. Shut up. Gara shatters her armor, creating splinters that orbit her. The splinters damage enemies and she receives up to 90% damage reduction with mods, which is really fucking good and it's also very important. It can also be used on allies and defense objectives. However, objectives only receive 50% DR. If you use it on an enemy, they just becomes more vulnerable to damage. This ability is Gara's base, and since the rest of her abilities impact this one, it's important to start here. This ability alone makes her one of the tankiest frames in the game and makes her the best defense frame in the game since she can protect anything like allies and defense objectives. She can't, however, protect you from fucking Archons.
Christ! Fuck! What is that foul, pale ghoul staring back at me?
Since they beat the shit out of her even through the DR. Just let me fucking exist in this godforsaken world. Shit. Fuck. I hate you. Besides that, she also has damage on it that only increases when you use her 4, Mass Vitrify. Gara starts to create a molten glass wall around her. The higher she jumps and the longer you hold the ability, the bigger the wall will be up to a cap. While channeling, she's invulnerable. After she is done, or if you tap the ability again, the wall will solidify and cause all enemies inside of it to get coated by glass, making them take more damage and shatter if they die. It also synergizes with her 1 and 2. We'll get to the 1 synergy later, but her 2 gets its duration refreshed every time you create a new wall. So this together with her 2 makes her basically the best defense frame in the game, since the wall blocks off enemies and her 2 adds DR in case someone manages to come through. It's also important to remember to keep casting it so you can refresh the duration of Splinter Storm. Besides that, the damage bonus and shatter is nice, and together with her 2 she can be somewhat of a DPS frame in certain situations. The real power of this ability comes from her synergy with other abilities which are triggered by her 1, Shattered Lash. Gara either boops someone with Shattered Lash or sweeps a sword, dealing either puncture damage with the tap or slash damage with the hold. The damage is increased with certain melee mods. This ability does pretty decent damage, to be honest, despite the fact that we don't use it for DPS. Its main use is to enable the synergies between abilities, since when you use it on her wall it shatters it, dealing damage to everything the splinters hit, and if you do it on the other section of the wall while your 2 is active, you will increase its damage indefinitely based on your ability strength, which is extremely fucking good because it reaches insane amounts of damage. What you do the whole mission is just cast 2 and keep it up as long as possible with the 4 refresh, and then shatter the walls to increase the damage. It can reach really fucking high levels of damage too. At some point you're just going to stand next to people and they will just die by you being alive next to them, kind of like being a child, or you in school. Now her 3rd ability is Spectrorage? What the fuck? You summon a circle of spinning mirrors that rotate. They cause enemies to walk into the circle and start to shoot the mirrors, which damages them, and once the mirror is broken, it deals additional damage. If any mirror explodes inside the Splinter Storm radius, it will add to the total damage of Splinter Storm. Now this ability is actually really good, but not for Gara. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad ability, it's just not good for Gara. Gara wants to enclose an area with her 4 in order to protect something and then keep breaking the wall, so there's a certain rotation with her 2, 4 and 1, but her 3 doesn't really fit in there. It's funny because this ability works really well on other frames like Korra. You don't need to subsume it out since overall it's not a bad ability, and subsuming takes resources, but if you do, you can go for something like Firewalker, so you don't need Prime Sure-Footed, or Elemental Ward Ice version to get her tanky enough with adaptation so that she can fight Archons. And her passive is just a radial blind when she steps into the light, so you just randomly blind enemies throughout the mission like some kind of disco ball that also has a gun. The way that you play her is by using her 2, and then every time your 2 is about to run out, or if you reach your max energy, use your 4 and then either keep it up until you can use 4 again, or break it instantly to deal damage. If you're in defense mission, use your 2 on yourself and then on the objective, and then 4 to sync the timers, just like before. Remember to use Generic if you have it for more energy, and so you can consistently increase the damage and keep up your 2. The way that I build her is like this. The focus is mostly on duration for obvious reasons, and strength to get the 90% DR, and have more damage increase per wall break. Adaptation gives you DR on DR, so it's more DR with your DR. I like to aid Arcane Energize so that I can get more free wall breaks, and Molt Augmented for long missions. Gara is probably the best tank support in the game. She takes some investment, but you can use her for the whole game. She will carry you through the Steel Path, arbitrations, and even Archon hunts with a bit of effort. Just remember to keep your 2 up and keep stacking her damage until you start killing everything around you, just like you're doing right now in real life.